Hey, folks, welcome to another episode of the McKinney Podcast, where we celebrate what makes us unique by nature. Fred and I are just tickled pink to have our guest here in this episode. She is none other than Ms. Vesta Schneider, and she is a real estate agent, an investor, and an expat of a different country. And she's been living here for a number of years and is going to have just an amazing story. A real American success story. You know, she is an American. She came from somewhere else, but got here as fast as she could. And man, what a cool story. I am so grateful to have this conversation. I'm really looking forward to hearing some details about you that I have no idea about. Vesta Schneider, welcome to the McKinney Podcast.
Thank you. Thank you. I am living an American dream for sure. So anybody who's listening to this, I have to tell you, if you can dream it, if you can make it, if you're willing to work for it, you can have it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and being in Texas like we are, the topic of immigration is inescapable. We always hear these stories of illegal immigration, undocumented immigration, and whenever I meet someone who did it the right way, who came here on a visa, found a way to America, is a productive member of society, and legally immigrated, and got, whether it's a green card or citizenship or whatever, it's like, anytime I hear someone who's done it the way that you did it, doing it the right way, it just gives me so much more appreciation for what America means to the world. It's just a place of opportunity where you can literally be whatever you're capable of making yourself into. And the country, the government's not going to stand in your way. We're do everything we can to help you be as successful as you're able to work for. So, Vesta, how in the world did you come into to be the person that you are? We love the backstory. We love to hear about your family and upbringing and early work and whatever. And Fred's going to hit you with our favorite first question.
First off, labas.
Labas. Well done.
First thing. When your feet first touched the earth, what soil was that?
Vilnius, Lithuania.
So you're the capital.
Yes, sir.
In the capital of Lithuania. And so from what I remember, okay, so what is that beverage? Mead? What is the fermented honey?
Gira.
Is that what it is?
That's probably what you're thinking about.
That's how you say goodbye also, right? Isn't it?
Viso gero.
Oh, what about gerai?
Gerai means it's good. Yes.
Okay. So, sorry.
Welcome to Lithuanian language studies class.
I was like, okay, I'm trying to remember things, but okay, so forget all that stuff.
For those of you that are confused, I'm also confused. I will join with you in enjoying this spectacle that's happening in front of us.
So, it's like, I know so many little things that absolutely mount up to nothing, but Lithuania, okay, so that's in the Baltics.
Correct.
Northeastern European.
It's like Estonia and
Latvia. And Lithuania.
Yes,
all
that's
okay.
right.
Alrighty.
That's
AKA
really
the
good.
Balkans.
Yes, very good knowledge. Someone asked me what state Lithuania was in, so I clarify that it's right next to Baltic Sea, and it's a whole country by itself.
And at one point was under Russian control.
Correct. So when I was born in 1980, giving out my age right there and then, yes, it was a part of Russia. So I grew up with learning the different kind of power, where you're told where to eat, how much you can eat, stand in line to get food. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. Where you can live, what language you can speak. So it's that's why I said my childhood is a little colorful. I learned how to stand up for myself because you have to. Everybody is in life has situations where we have to fight on flight. I fight, and it's just my instinct. So I was not a very easy teenager to raise, as you can imagine.
So are your parents still alive? Can you apologize to your parents and let them know that you realize?
I think I'm getting it back from my own kids. I have two teens. Yes. My mom says payback time. Yes.
My parents said the same thing. When
funny.
Yeah, I was a very difficult kid as well, and my daughter is a chip off the old block.
I love
it raises, but you are going to raise a girl that is very strong-minded, cannot be pushed around, and you want that. Someone who can think for themselves.
I'm not interested in taming the tiger. I'm just kind of channeling that energy. I'm sure that's how you've done
it. Point her in a direction.
Yeah, because you have a senior in high school, right? I've seen your pictures, and man, she looks like her mom. No, that's crazy. Beautiful young lady. I was like,
thank you.
Wow, she's got to be so proud.
I am so proud of both of my kids. They're really wonderful. And I've been married for 24 years, and we have two kids, as I said. One of my goals was to really have a close family where we do care about each other, where we talk to each other about anything, and we do have that. It's a conscious choice, conscious decision. As you know, to raise kids is not easy.
Yeah.
No.
And when both of us came from broken families, so we don't have an example of how it should be.
Mm-hmm.
So we just make conscious decision to make it happen, make it work. So yes, I'm very, very, as any parent would say, I'm biased, but I think my kids are best. You think your kids are best, and we should think that about our kids.
Okay, so take us back to in Lithuania. So, you say the things that were kind of like stereotypical of extreme government control, extreme, very, very limited resources and all those things. But was it 1990? Was that when Lithuania got its independence from?
1991, yes.
91,
Yeah, 91.
Okay.
Berlin Wall fell in 90. Soviet bloc broke up in 91. And Mikhail Gorbachev made a whole bunch of changes.
And so you were 10, 11 years old. How quickly did things change in your country at that point? Or were the people so accustomed to living that way that was it revolutionary level change, like all of a sudden new, fresh, and people felt freedom, or was it a long, slow change?
Well, I can ask you the same question. When you have a new governor here that says it's going to do anyone who's in government says I'm going to change something very quickly. How quickly does a change happen? And does it actually happen?
Years.
Or is it superficial?
Yes.
So
Lots
it
of
takes
campaign
years.
promises.
Correct. So government is government. It depends what you want to believe. And so in a way, we were able to start speaking our own language, and we didn't have to we didn't have ratios for food anymore. So some things did change, but underlying wrong kind of power was always there. And I would say it's still there. It's still corrupt.
Well, and those kind of structures take generations to unwind.
Right.
When the basic economic and political and government power of a country are a certain way, it took decades to get the way that it is. Of course, it's going to take decades to completely unwind and do something else. I mean, revolution in any country, it takes years and years and years to come to fruition. I mean, there's every example, including our own in America. I mean, it took us darn near 30 years to stand up on our own after the British and all that. I mean, nothing happens fast.
Well, and look at people who went through Great Depression right here.
Yeah.
Their mindset is completely different from younger generations.
Yeah.
So what's it like as a teenager in Lithuania when you were growing up? Outside of you must respect basketball.
Yes. Basketball is like your American football.
Yeah,
yes.
And you've cranked out some amazing players, and I'm always impressed with what Lithuania can do. And that was even before I even knew anyone from Lithuania. I was like, in high school, I was like, what is this country? Where, why do they play so well? So apparently that is.
We have a lot of tall and strong men. Even my son, who is 16, he's almost 6'2". He's playing basketball. We're just built that way. Seems like most of us, if you look at my face, I have these high cheekbones. Both of my kids have it now. It's just
It's genetics, Fred. She can't explain it. It's just how she's built.
That's right.
I can play basketball. I don't run away from a ball, but
Basketball is in the genes of the male Lithuanians.
Obviously it is.
Yes.
But I mean, so as a teenager growing up in Lithuania, how would you compare that to teenagers here in the United States?
when you grow up certain way and that's all you know, you're just happy with whatever you have and you make it work. So I can't complain that my childhood was very difficult. Comparing now to what I see the way my kids grow up, they just live in this bubble where everything is given to them and everything is so easy and feelings are hurt so easily and completely different. When, when I was growing up, I was just told you go out, you figure out, you deal with it and suck it up. And there is good and bad to both sides. Maybe finding somewhere in the middle would be the best.
Mm-hmm. Do you ever feel like you are trying to force old world upon your children?
100%.
Yeah.
My husband is American, so he grew up here, mm-hmm. and his way of parenting is very different. I'm definitely the one who
the hard one.
Yes, whips up the baton and pew, whip. Not physically, but yes, I structure and rules. I'm the one who creates that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Good mix.
Do you have any appreciation? Maybe it cuts a little close to home. One of my favorite, series of jokes over the years, when you're making fun of what someone's complaining about, something difficult, it's like, in Soviet Russia, cereal eats you for breakfast. It's like turning things around. It's like, in Russia, ... It's like, because obviously you weren't Russia, you were Soviet Union, and Lithuania as its own sovereign country, obviously there's a lot of tension there. It's like, well, you guys were dealing with a military occupation. You didn't have any choice. So with that whole idea of just where you're from, that part of the country, the story of your people, the fabric of your country and how you were born and raised, like that just gritty resilience, refusal to quit, like that is just part of you as a person, right? It is molded into the fabric of Vesta.
Yes, it definitely shapes you. It made me who I am today. And I just went to visit last summer, went back home and visited with my friends. I still have a lot of friends and connections back home. And we were out and about, and I'm talking to everybody, and I'm smiling, and my friends look at me. They're like, "What's wrong with you? Why you keep smiling?" They're so used to just not be as open as I am, as Americans are. Mm-hmm. And just, I've been here only 24 years, and it changed me so much.
Well, because the way that you express yourself in that part of the world, the entirety of Eastern Europe, very private, keep to yourself. You don't talk to people on the street. You're not
very distrusting, and
very distrusting.
Someone is spying on you, or has connections that could be detrimental
or
to your
ulterior
future.
motives, or they're not being true. They're trying to manipulate you into doing something. I'm guessing all that's completely normal, right? You talked about corruption. How does that play into the way you see the world? Constantly like side-eyeing somebody, going, "All right, what do you actually want? Are you telling me the truth? Like, what's your real motivation here?" Is that something you deal with? Still being born and raised in a society that's that kind of level of mistrust is just endemic to everybody.
I think it's a healthy level of mistrust. I don't trust you until you show me that I can, versus anybody can say anything just because you said it doesn't make it true.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And when you look back at somebody's history, whether it's government or just regular person, it says a lot. Facts are facts. You can't deny them.
Yeah.
And words is just that.
Well, and watching our kids go through this process of understanding. They're 8 and 6 right now. And just in the last few months, we've had to have these conversations because they watch the Today Show at 7 o'clock in the morning when they are eating their breakfast and getting ready for school, which is a questionable parenting decision, I guess. But the number of times that they have had very interesting questions based on something that the anchor on NBC says, and just having to have those conversations with these little humans of just because a grown-up says it does not make it true. The truth is the truth, regardless of what someone says about it.
Including teachers.
Including teachers. Mm. Yeah. And
sorry, teachers.
Well, and just because a grown-up says it does not mean that it's accurate. And getting them to start realizing, oh, I need to be thinking for myself.
And ask questions.
What appears to be true. And be curious and ask questions. And just having them understand it's okay to challenge something a grown-up says. You can ask why. You can ask them to explain themselves. Mm-hmm. You can seek to understand. That's okay.
Just do it the way that it's not offensive.
Yeah.
You create a conversation.
Yeah, 100%.
Yes.
Yeah.
And same goes with coaches. Any coach or any good coach or good teacher can shape kids' lives. There are movies made about it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then there are others. So you have to talk to kids and say that, like you said, whatever, if teacher says something, it doesn't mean it's right. It's automatically right.
Yeah.
During COVID, we obviously all of us have kids at home, and we're talking about something with kids that I said a word that I'm not going to say here, but the kids told me, "Mom, you're not supposed to say that." I said, "Well, hold on a second. Why not though? Like, what's wrong with the word?" And that just opened so many doors to so many different conversations that I realized that I'm not talking to them enough about certain topics. It's just taboo. And if we might all three have the same thought or disagree, but if we don't talk about it, now we start not liking each other and we just start avoiding each other.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe post something ridiculous on Facebook and fight.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's the point of that? It leads to nothing.
Yeah.
There's so much benefit that comes from better understanding the position of someone who disagrees with you, who thinks differently than you do.
And maybe I am wrong. Maybe I can learn something from you.
Well, maybe I'm wrong and maybe I can learn something from you.
Right.
Or maybe we're both partially wrong, and the reality, the fact, the truth is somewhere in the middle,
right?
Which is what it often is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's why conversation is always needed.
Yeah. I learned a lot this past election season here locally, and we've talked about this from time to time.
That's a lot of fun.
It was fun, and at times it was incredibly toxic and unpleasant, and I gave in to the energy sometimes, and we've talked about that before on the podcast. I don't need to rehash things, but it's so much better to approach a conversation with someone who you know thinks differently or believes differently, and trying to go, okay, I just have to understand, why does this person think the way that they do? I think they're an intelligent person. They're not, in some sort of remedial education. They have lots of things to bring to the conversation, rather than you're wrong and I'm about to tell you why. And I think, I love your perspective.
Well, and if everybody thinks exactly the same, what would happen to
Boring.
society?
Yes,
Not even boring. We would just
completely useless.
Degrade.
Yeah.
Yes. There would be nothing. Nobody would build anything. Nobody would create anything, but because we all the same.
Yeah.
That would be terrible.
Yeah, it would be. But but in some people's minds, that's a utopia, because we all think, speak, do the same things. And so, it's very, things just all fit together because it's all vanilla.
Well, look at three of us at the table. We have completely three different backgrounds.
Yep.
Now, if we try to say and do and look exactly the same, well, you want to look like me, or do I want to look like you?
Well, to be truthful, of the three of us, I think you're the best looking of all of us.
Well, thank you.
You're a lot prettier than I am,
That's
Vesta.
right. So,
if I have to be a female, I wouldn't mind being Vesta, because
We will never be the same. That's
That's
my
right.
Fred
point.
and I both have a face for radio,
That's right.
as our dad said.
That's about as far as it goes.
Yeah. For those of you watching on YouTube, I apologize. This is the only one I have. I don't have another one. So, but I'd love to hear about how you got to the U.S., because everyone's story of crossing the pond or riding on a ship or whatever it takes to get you to the U.S., the land of opportunity. What was that like for you? How did you get here? And more importantly, how did you decide, I'm going to stay here and make a life of this here? Because those are two different stories, I bet.
Yes. So during the summer when I was not in school and I was a teenager, we would just hop into any kind of train we can get into and go to a different country, go to Paris or whatever. It sounds fancy, but here it's like you go from state to state.
Yeah.
So the same thing. And this summer, my friend called me. He's like, what are you doing in summer before you have to go back to college? I said, I don't know. He's like, well, do you want to go to United States? Sure. Why not?
Is friend or boyfriend?
Friend.
Okay. Just
We
friend.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're still very good friends.
Okay.
Yes. And he said, we're going to go to Delaware. There's a place, the beach where we're going to stay from all the states. We went to Delaware.
Delaware?
Yes. And I said, why there? I'm looking at the map. He's like, well, it's close to New York, to Philly, to Washington, D.C., so we can just hop around, travel at the same time. I said, sure, let's go. I was working at the same time, so got visa, work visa and travel visa from work. And I went. And that's where I met a boy. I met an American boy, yes, who is my husband now for 24 years. My visa was about to expire. So after dating for handful of months, we decided to get married.
Wait, how long were you in the United States on your
I
trip?
had 6 months for my visa.
6 months. Okay.
Yeah, so...
College can wait. You found the new thing to do.
Well, so we had a plan as 21 and 23-year-old, brilliant plan. We said, let's stay married for 6 months and see what happens. If it doesn't work out, we'll get divorced. And I'll go back home and he stays here. That was our solution.
24 years later, here we are.
Here we are. I have the best man in the whole world.
Awesome.
Yes.
How about
Yes.
that?
So how did you meet? What's that
Yeah,
story?
it's
He's
like-
not sitting next to you, so I can't hear his perspective. How did that happen? How did you fall for this American boy?
Oh, no, the truth is, James, that she shows up probably wearing, on the beach, looking like a
21-year-old Vesta, straight from Lithuania.
European model.
Like she stepped out of a magazine.
That's right. He was probably smitten.
You know how they do it in the movies. I was walking out of the water of
Were
the
you
beach and just
jumping
shaking
in
my
slow,
wet
like
hair.
running in slow motion with your hair just flowing
Yes,
in the wind?
and I had
he
the-
was starstruck instantly.
Orchestral,
The violin
movements.
plays.
Yes, and I was wearing a red bathing suit.
Yes, of course you
yes,
were.
yes, of
Yeah.
course,
Okay.
yes.
And he takes off his sunglasses slowly and stares at you like, oh my
Yes.
gosh, who is that?
And I saw him and I winked at him.
Yeah.
Ooh, baby.
And then,
Yes.
then he walks into his car or something. Boom.
Or a light pole. It's always a light pole.
Yes,
There's so many light poles.
that's right. Random.
Okay, so for real, how did it happen? I'm curious now.
I was looking for a job. So I had a bicycle. I was driving around this little town called Rehoboth Beach and Dewey Beach.
Yeah.
They're right. Do you know where it is?
I've heard of it, yeah.
Okay.
I see it on a map.
So I was driving by this restaurant where it said, looking to hire. I walked in, my English was so broken. So I was talking to a manager, said, do you have a job? I was told, because my English was very broken, I was told, you know what, probably not a good fit for you. You can't wait tables. You never worked in the restaurant, no English. So sorry, boo-boo. So that's what the manager at the time, he just called me boo-boo. As I was walking out, my husband ran out from the restaurant. He's like, you are hired. And that was it. He hired me to be his bus girl. I would come every night. I was supposed to pour water and
just do dishes.
Do dishes, put bread on the table. He said I was the worst because I would just start talking to people. I didn't do my job. I didn't know what I was supposed to do. I've never been in a nice restaurant before. And the restaurant was called Zebra at the time. It was really nice, fancy restaurant.
So this is a not fast food. This is a sit down,
very
plated.
fancy, upscale.
Okay.
Yes, white tablecloth. Everybody's dressed in, yes, very nice place.
Mm-hmm.
So I came back every night, and he kept paying me as a bus girl from his tips because that was the only way I would come back. I needed a job, and I didn't know I was doing.
But he had ulterior motives. Has he confessed to you that he was smitten?
Yeah, he has been trying to take me out, but I just broke up with boyfriend not that long ago, so I didn't want to have anything to do with anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to enjoy beach and my friends, group of friends that we came with, and then he tricked me to go to dinner.
Oh, he tricked
And there's
you.
a whole another story there. He took us bus people out. There was another bus boy in the same
group.
restaurant.
Oh,
yes.
but just two of you?
2 bus people and my husband.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was 3 of us. But he had a deal with another bus person, said, well, I'll pay for this very fancy meal. And as soon as the dinner's over, you beat it. Well, he didn't want to leave.
Game respects game.
That's right.
Well, but he didn't.
He didn't wanna leave.
He stayed there through the
Oh,
dessert.
he broke the agreement?
Yes,
Oh,
which I
man.
didn't know there was an agreement. So I'm
No.
having this great time. These guys are giving me all the attention.
Yeah, it's because the other guy was probably also smitten with you.
That's what my husband said. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So we ended up going to late night party on somebody's roof. There is, one of the guys is playing guitar. My husband Bob now, he was rubbing my feet. I'm like, this is awesome. I like this. And
So what are we doing tomorrow night, boys?
yes, can we repeat that?
Let's run it back.
Yes.
All right. Which
So-
one of you is playing guitar? Which one of you is rubbing my feet? So,
One thing led to another, and then it
Yeah.
just, once I really got to know my husband, we were meant to be.
Yeah.
I found my match.
Yeah. When you find your person, you know it.
Okay, so did you know that he was the one before you left? Or before you were supposed to go back to Lithuania?
I had a feeling it was really scary because, first of all, I'm in the country. I never thought of being here longer than 5-6 months. And now I'm here by myself. All the friends already went back to college.
Wait, so you're here by yourself now?
Yes, because all friends left. And I called my mom and I told my mom, I said, well, I have some news. I said, I'm not coming back. I said, I'm getting married this weekend. She's like, yeah, funny. I was such a wild child that she just didn't really take me seriously. She thought I would just have another kind of crazy idea. And time came and left. My flight time. And my mom was like, you were not at the airport. I said, I told you I'm getting married. And that was it.
Wow.
Yeah, it was. I know it was crazy and scary decision, and I tell my kids, please don't do that to me. This is so awful, so awful. But when you're so young and you think you can do anything.
Okay, so the day that you were supposed to fly back, do you remember that day? Did you look at your ticket? Was it?
No.
No. You had already made up your mind.
I have this. I have a very strong personality that once I
No.
decide something
Really?
that
Really?
but that's another thing that attracted me to my husband to this day. He was the only guy I dated that if I tell him, usually I tell the guys, I said jump, they ask me how high. And my husband was like, okay, I'll jump, but you're going to jump with me. I'm like, wait a second, what? And he's
He's
way
got to
very
match
good
your
match.
energy.
Yes, yes.
So he was the one man who's able to lead you.
Yes,
Wow.
he's definitely the head of our house and a leader in our house. Very much respect him. He's an amazing man and a father to our kids.
Dan, way to
Every
go.
man should
I'm
be
a
so
lucky girl.
fortunate.
That's right.
Every guy listening to this
Amen.
episode wants to have someone talk about him like that.
That's
I promise
right.
you.
That's
No.
right. Wow.
Awesome.
Way to go, Bob.
Good job, Bob. Way to go.
We'll need to have both of you back so he can share his side of the story. How
Yes.
about
Yeah,
that?
so he can just turn pink as a balloon, and with all these praise that he's getting.
I think he's used to it. It's I really am so lucky, and he just matches me in every way, even sense of humor. We had because we got married so quickly, people were just really rude. They were, "Are you pregnant? Do you need a green card?" And one time, I don't know what got into me. I said, actually, he ordered me from the Russian Bride magazine. And I see my husband, he's looking at me, and I know he's going to play along. So he says, well, I asked for blonde, and they send me her. So at least I got 50% off.
Yep.
But you know what he did? People stopped asking questions. And to this day, some people probably still think that was the case. But yeah, so we're a good fit together.
Vesta Schneider, mail order bride.
Yes.
I can't imagine. No. How did you find your way to the McKinney area, to Texas? Because, I mean, obviously it's Delaware, and this was 24 years ago. A lot has happened between now and then. Catch us up in whatever big, chapters, big things you want to kind of understand your journey, your context from there to this current chapter where you're living in North Texas. You become a real estate investor. You get your license, now you're a real estate agent as well. Catch us up from there to here, I should say. What waypoints, what pieces of the story do we need to understand to kind of grasp your journey to get to where you are now?
So very beginning, first 5 years here, it was a lot of restaurant business. We owned a restaurant at one point, and then I ran big weddings in the ballrooms. That was not a great lifestyle. My husband was in the same business as well. It's 16-hour days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, weekends.
Late.
Yes, late. It's just not a good lifestyle for us. I didn't want that. Once we decided we want to grow a family, that we decide, okay, we want to be married longer than 6 months. We do like each other, and we want to build a family. We had to make decisions and change our life direction. So that's where he went into corporate world, where he still is today. He just keeps climbing the ladder. And when I got pregnant, I said, listen, I can't just give my 3-month-old baby to somebody. I can't do it. And neither of us have family here. It's just us. Now it's 4 of us, and that's it. We have great friends that became as a family, but at the time it was just us. And so I stayed home. And when we got pregnant with the second baby, we decided we're going to buy another house. And the first one we rented. And that's how we became an accidental landlords. I remember we had this conversation. I said, there is something there. I know there is money in real estate. I don't know how, when. I don't know anything about it. I don't know laws. I need to figure this out. And that was something I was able to do all throughout my kids' up to now them being 16, 18, all their lives, raise them, put them to bed, hug them, kiss them, bathe them, whatever, be there for them all the time while helping my husband who was traveling for work. And I was able to do real estate on the side. That's how it started with just that one rental turned into, at one point we had 15 rentals. I don't even know how many flips I've done. It just, I found my passion I fell on my face many, many times, made a lot of mistakes, but that's the only way to become better. And we moved a lot, 12 times to be exact, throughout my marriage. So at the beginning we moved because we can, because we're young and we have no responsibilities. And the rest of the time we moved because of my husband's job. So it takes about 2 years or so to really become a part of the community or start becoming a part of the community. And as soon as that would happen, we'll move somewhere. So I couldn't have my own real estate license because we kept moving and I wanted to support my husband. One of the places we were asked to move was McKinney, Texas, or actually Texas in general. And we came here over the weekend. We had the best real estate agent she's my idol. I adore her. She, over the weekend, I think I sent her like 60 homes to look at, told her what I want, what I don't want. She scratched immediately, half of them. Over the weekend, we found a house, and it happened to be in McKinney, Texas. We looked at Plano, Frisco, and all the other areas. I'm like, not happening. As soon we came to McKinney, downtown, which was way smaller 10 years ago. And then we came to Stonebridge Ranch, where I still live today, with these big trees and so much just personality. I said, that's it. That's where I want to be. And that's it. That's my story. And I'm not going anywhere. I thought this is going to be 2-3 year place to be in McKinney. But once I got to know people here in the community, and everyone is, I shouldn't say everyone, most people are very welcoming. My husband and I talked, and we decided that's where I want to raise my family. That's the values I want to instill in my children in here.
So you've got 18 and a 16-year-old.
Correct.
They're almost out of your house. You've got 2 or 3 years left. Then they're both off to school, college, trade school, whatever they do with the next phase of their life, but they're not living in your home every day unless they
Are you trying to make me cry?
No. What I'm saying is you're about to be in the next chapter of your life where, once again, your kids aren't necessarily a direct factor of where you choose to live because they're off doing their own thing, going to college, living their life. You may or may not be around them. My wife lives 13 minutes from her parents. They moved up here to be near their grandkids, and they're super involved in our family, and they're basically a second set of parents for me. Like, I'm not their son-in-law. I'm basically their son. Like, we do life closely, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. You might have that relationship with them at some point. Who knows? All that to say, you're about to be free to do what you want, where you want. And it sounds like you don't have any intention of leaving McKinney. You're going to voluntarily stay here, even though you don't really have any structural things holding you here anymore. Sounds like you found your spot.
Well, so far, everything is going by the plan. My daughter is going to go to OU. She was already accepted. That's what she wants to do. So she's not far, I just sit in the car and drive to visit her. We'll see what happens with my son. He still has plenty of time.
Yeah.
But I really like it here. I found my home. I'm a big part of McKinney Chamber now, and it's huge to be part of the community.
Yep.
And as someone who came from another country, not having anything, and that goes for all immigrants. We come to take. What do you have to give me? What do you have to offer me? How can I make my life better? And I just took until I got on my own 2 feet, and my family's standing strong now. Now it's time for me to give. And because I have 2 teenagers, I have so much more free time. Now I'm part of the McKinney Chamber Committee. Now I'm part of the WAM Women Alliance in McKinney on their committee. I can give back. I can mentor somebody. I can take them under my wing and say, hey, I did it. You can do it too. Let me show you how. Mm-hmm. It's time to give back. And that's where I wanted to do it, in McKinney.
Okay, so I'm trying to put some pieces together here. You were already in college when you were in Lithuania.
Right.
What were you studying?
International business and marketing.
International business and marketing. You come to the United States, you get married. Did you go back to college?
3 years is enough. Okay. Apparently.
3 years is enough.
I thought about...
But you were so close then.
Yes, I had only 1 year left. I thought about it, but it was not really... I'm not built for corporate world. Mm-hmm. And I figured that out halfway through the college. Mm-hmm. If you look at my husband and I, he is just very much corporate mindset. And my daughter is the same way. She's going to follow his footsteps somewhere to the CEO executive position. That's what they want. Then you take someone like my son and I just dream of things, and many dreams just stay dreams. Other things I come up with ideas, and I make them a reality, and they're actually really good ideas. Mm-hmm. And my son is just like that. I can't sit in the front of the desk. I need to be out and about, peopling, talking, come up with different things to do. I don't do well with structure that someone put me into it. Mm-hmm.
No, I love that. And that's one thing that, we've talked about, Elizabeth and I, with our sons, and with a lot of youth, is that there is a ideal of you graduate high school, you go to college, you graduate college, and you go to work. But the reality is that college is an excellent option, but it's not the only option. You started off at the very beginning. You're living the American dream, and that you come here, and you said the key 4-letter word was work. And there's nothing wrong with dreams, and some will just remain that way. But when you put your mind and your effort towards something and work, that college isn't necessarily part of the absolute winning equation, but that work, whether it's in college or in whatever you're doing, I think that's critical, that that, because we do have a diverse listening audience, and, hopefully a lot of the moms who are riding with their children and they're listening to this in their vehicles, that they understand that this is a great option. And, you are a living testimony to, the fact that, you come here barely with barely any command of the language, and look at where you are now, fully established and investing in your community.
A lot of moms say that it's a hidden truth. Moms, or I should say parents, often embarrassed to say that my child is going to trade school. But then my answer to that would be, do you know that one of the biggest houses on the lake in Adriatica?
Yeah.
Do you know who it belongs to?
Yeah. Well, we're going to have Carissa on here later.
Yep.
You talking about Carissa Richardson?
There is, yes, yeah. but then another one is the plumber.
Yeah, that's Carissa.
Oh, that is? Oh, I didn't know
yes,
that. Okay.
yes.
So,
Yep.
but that's just my point. It doesn't, you have to find what you're good at and what you like, and then run with it. Make it work for you, however the pieces fit.
Yeah. Yeah. And, and on top of that, we also want to equate success with, massive amounts of wealth and large things. But, I think you touched on it so critically in there, but, rather quickly, is that, you found something that you could support your husband, and you could, tuck your children in at night and all those other things, because, in the end, regardless of where you are, all we have are time and family. Those are two commodities that we cannot manufacture.
Well, that's just it. If I talk to my kids, each kid 15 minutes a day, just walk by and say, hey, did you do the dishwasher? Did you pick up your laundry? I don't have a relationship. If I give everything I have to my work, to my community, and at nighttime I don't want to talk to my husband because I'm too tired, something is off. So it's one of the biggest things why I say I live my American dream, not just work, not just what we achieved financially, but I have a husband who lifts me up every day, who says you can do it. Doesn't matter what kind of crazy ideas I brought to him over years. He's like, okay, what is the plan? How are you going to get there? And some failed. It did fail, and but I tried. I will open that door. I will try, and if I see that was bad decision, I'll close the door and say, well, dang it. Move on.
Well,
and I have kids who come to and talk to me and say, "Hey, Mom, I had a bad day or had a good day." My husband and I are the first call, the first text message from my kids when they want to share something. And you can't buy that. You can't make it. It's just the life that you choose to live on a daily basis.
I love that.
the whole attitude of winners win. That's it. You either win or you learn something that helps you win next time. That whole attitude of, that didn't go how I wanted it to. All right, let's lean in. Let's inspect. Let's digest. Let's study what happened there so I can learn from it, so I can be better, think better, do better. So the next time something like that happens, I'm way better prepared to have a more positive outcome. People that take that kind of perspective with life, they're unstoppable.
You can't win without failing.
Yeah, absolutely.
That might be the soundbite right there.
Yeah. The most dangerous people are the ones that have lost enough times to figure out how to win consistently.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's very easy to look at someone and say, look at this person, they made it. But if you actually talk to them and look at all the things they've done, every single one of those people, they failed way more times than they actually succeeded. Mm-hmm. But what happens, you learn what you're made out of, you learn what matters to you, you learn and become very good at your scheduling, at saying no, at when something goes wrong, you bounce back very quickly. Because if you sit there and marinate in negativity and your own feelings that, it was so difficult, I don't know what to do, I'm so embarrassed. Well, that's going to take you nowhere. Instead, give yourself 5 minutes, go eat some ice cream, cry maybe, pat yourself on the shoulder. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So obviously, you're a rock star. You're a rock star. And, I'm trying to think when it was actually at, I think, the Allen Chamber morning meeting, the first time I, looked across the room and you stood up and I was like, just what James said earlier, that's an interesting accent. We're from East Texas, is that? But,
far East Texas.
That's right. In your career, coming to where you are now, success, obviously you have racked up some success, and success is addictive. Did you ever feel like your life was out of balance, where you physically had to say, I need to stop doing what I'm so good at so that I do not sacrifice my marriage or my family?
Maybe sometimes here and there, but overall, I am very good at saying no. Even with my clients, obviously I want all the clients, I want to grow and be better and always be busy. That's what we want. But I do interviews with my clients. I say before listing a house or selling their house, and I tell them that this interview is as much for you as it is for me. We need to click. We need to see. Sometimes you're not on the same wavelength. Mm-hmm. And if it's not a good fit, then I would suggest a different person for them to work with. And there is nothing wrong with that. Mm-hmm. And that kind of approach really helps me to not overwork myself. Because some people, I can't please you, I can't appease you. It doesn't matter what I do, it's just not going to be good enough. Mm-hmm. And we're just not a good fit, and there's nothing wrong with it.
Mm-hmm. That's good. Boundaries.
So last question here, and then Fred's going to hit you with our final favorite question. I don't know if you've ever listened to the podcast.
I
have
did.
the same question every episode. What kind of advice do you have for people in the real estate space? You're a professional. This is a crazy market right now. I have my own thoughts on what's likely to happen in the next year or two with supply and demand, with home values, with people that are wanting to upgrade, downgrade, invest, whatever. What kind of high-level advice do you have for people that are wanting to be involved in real estate this year in 2026? Buying, selling, investing. What kind of big advice do you have just as far as the market goes as a whole? A caution, a word of strategy, whatever you want to share. Is kind of as we wrap, because we haven't talked about real estate much at all, and that's a huge part of what you do professionally. But we had just a very interesting conversation. We can have real estate conversations with a lot of folks, but we can't have that conversation with anybody else. Right. So how would you answer the real estate question?
Let me touch on investments.
Sure.
Because that is one part. I meet people all the time and say, oh, I wished I bought a house 15 years ago. It was $150,000 and now it's $550,000. Don't be afraid to invest, but make sure you work with the right person who has experience, because there's so much money in real estate, and you make money when you buy a house, not when you sell it. So that's that one part. The other part is just do what's right for you. It's not always a good time to sell, and it's not always a good time to buy, and it depends on your life situation. If maybe divorce happened and you need to sell very quickly. Maybe you have time to wait to sell. So I guess what I'm saying, it's hard to give overall one big suggestion, because all of our lives are so different and our future is different. So I would look at each situation separately, and always interview real estate agents. Don't just go with one person because you did work with them before or somebody recommended them. Just like you get estimate from contractor, you should always get at least 3. You should do the same with real estate agent, because you will learn what questions to ask, who actually has your best interest in mind.
I love that.
And when in doubt, go with Vesta.
I hope so, but it has to be a good fit for everybody.
That's right. That's right. Okay. Last question.
Ooh.
No pressure.
That's right. Who would win in a fight between a 12-foot tall giant polar bear and a great white shark? They're in a body of water 6 feet deep, of infinite dimensions. There's no sandbar, no shallow end, no shore, no getting out of the water. Who wins that fight, bear or shark?
So I did think about it before coming, because I listened to other.
Yes. Right.
How big is a shark?
Average size great white shark, an adult great white is about 18 feet long, give or take, but long. Tall, it's probably 5 or 6 feet from top to bottom.
So it barely has space to move. So that bear is just going to eat it like a cracker.
I'm going to reach across the table and say, there you go.
Well,
that's it right there. That's my answer.
To that, I will say, Isvekata.
Isvekata.
Yeah. And my only answer to that question is the bear, because sharks attack from the bottom. A typical shark will come from beneath its prey and go up to them. And there's no room for that. So, bear wins.
And I want to say, I just want to say, we had James Stennett on earlier, who spent time in Fort Lauderdale, and he leaned towards shark.
Yeah.
Also, Catherine Catola, she leaned towards shark also.
Yeah.
And,
You Florida people.
Yeah, I think I lean more towards shark too because, spend time around the water. However, having more time towards, the Siberian side of things, and so, not that
there
you
aren't
see,
any polar bears in Siberia.
I know,
right?
but the likelihood of bear interaction is probably greater, the more inland you are. So, but that's just interesting though.
Those are grizzly and Kodiaks over there.
And did I get my East Kata correct? Is that
Yes, it was perfect.
All right, thank you.
Well, I speak exactly 0 words of Lithuanian, so I hope you feel smarter today than me. You are better prepared.
I have dipped into all the knowledge I have, and the other word I have is it lupus? Lips? Lupus?
Lupus.
Lupus. Okay, so and that's from VeggieTales.
Lupus is a disease, Fred.
That's from VeggieTales.
That's a very interesting word to know.
Yeah,
Lips.
That's right. It's from VeggieTales. It's a cartoon. So
okay.
It's
well, to watch. Hey, the information for getting in contact with Vesta, there's my camera, sorry. Vesta Schneider is going to be in the information on the show notes or the description if you're watching on YouTube. And this has been a wonderful conversation. Thank you for being here. If you want to connect with Vesta, check her out in the information below. And this has been another episode of the McKinney Podcast. We celebrate what makes us unique by nature. Catch you next time, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all take care.